Hello, and welcome back to Flint Hills Briar. I'm Gareth, as always. I'm just sitting out and kind of tucked back in the corner of the back garden, as I like to call it. Mostly because it's in the shade. The sun finally came out today, and it's a little bit too bright to point a camera into. I was going to sit underneath the patio heater, but I decided to scoot back here for video purposes. It's in the 30s, mid 30s Fahrenheit. Definitely into that time of year where usually if I want to come out and enjoy a pipe, I have to bundle up and I wind up looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something. Problem with sitting outside for about an hour smoking a pipe is that you're just sitting there, so you're not generating much body heat, so you have to bundle up even more than you normally would if you were active. But I'm having a pipe full of Selim Schwartz, or Selim's Black, in this Danish freehand Soren pipe. Has a rather excessively large bowl. But today I wanted to talk about some stuff I have been thinking about for a while, and really for probably about a month now. Thought I might say something about it when I was recording the videos I did out when I was hiking the Elk River Trail. And apparently the neighbor's dog is running through part of our yard on the other side of his fence, chasing squirrels. But anyway, out on the Elk River Trail, I never talked about this. And I will eventually get that second video edited and uploaded. But not that my little conversation needs a title, but I'll probably just use this for the video title, and that's Life and How to Live It, which is something I ripped off from a REM song from the early 80s. This is inspired, there's a couple things going on here, but this was inspired in part by actually one of Timber Drifter's old videos that I think he shot on a Halloween evening, late afternoon or something like that, which I'd watched a couple of times over the last while. Kind of dealing with going back to where you grew up and it being different, not really being your place anymore. And then back in that camp out I went on before Halloween, the one where I roasted the pumpkins, or pumpkin, which, yeah, that was an idea I also got from somebody. But as I was driving through town, through Manhattan, on my way home, I drove around a little bit looking at some of the fall color in the trees and stuff, and just looking at just a few things here and there in town. And it kind of got me thinking about some stuff, and this is the consequence of that. So I have to say that I'm I'm pretty content overall with where life has put me. I I guess I mean, I don't know if you've been able to figure this out by now, but I'm a very uh multifaceted person, I guess. A very eclectic person in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, I not that I've been doing it very much recently because of, well, the weather getting colder and also my hernia surgery kind of screwing up my training this summer. But I'm into cycling. I I'm part lightweight backpacker. I'm part heavyweight uh, car truck camping winter camper. I'll on one trip when I'm hiking, I'll wear this high tech ultralight performance fabric stuff, and other times I'll go camping in the cool season. I'm wearing heavyweight wool stuff and cotton and all, things like that. And just a whole number of things, like the type of the vast range of music I like listening to and just things I'm interested in and all that kind of stuff. So I'd say, I mean, one thing I feel like I would describe myself as kind of a Kansas woodsman by locational situation, just where I'm at. However, I can't really tell if I'm in some ways more of a kind of a Western mountain person or kind of a North Country, North Woods person. Like up north in the canoe country in the boreal forest. Those are both places that I've enjoyed going to before more than once. I haven't been up north for quite a while, but places I feel kind of drawn to. So yeah, I don't know if I'm which of those. I maybe a more kind of that type of person at heart, but I'm here in Kansas, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, back at the end of October, when I went camping on the way back home, I went through Manhattan, Kansas, which is my hometown. My parents live there. My brother still lives there. And as I was driving through, I really had to admit to myself, and no, not really for the first time, that Manhattan just really isn't my town anymore. My life has just kind of grown elsewhere. I live in Salina, Kansas. It's grown elsewhere. It's not just that I moved. It's not that have moved away from the town that's mine. It's just my life has grown elsewhere, and elsewhere is kind of my place now. And it's been, I don't know, better part of like 14 years or so since I really lived in, kind of longer than that, 15, 16 years since I've really lived in Manhattan. Really, ever since I went back to school to go into the radiology stuff. And I have a lot of, because I grew up in Manhattan for the most part, lived in Hayes for a while, but did most of my growing up in Manhattan. And I have a lot of memories in a lot of places there. Things I did, the way things used to look. Just, all that kind of stuff over the years. And, in some aspects of that, Manhattan is still the same, but in a lot of others, it's very different. Just things have definitely changed over the years, and I'm a big sucker for nostalgia. I think a lot of pipe smokers are. And my life has gone on, and it's gone to different places. And Manhattan's life has gone on, and it's gone on. Sorry, I was hearing something. Manhattan's life has kind of gone on without me because it didn't need me. And I have to just kind of admit to myself that my Manhattan, the Manhattan that kind of exists in my nostalgia, my memories, my past is gone. It's different. Even things like K-State. I grew up, my parents worked at K-State, and my dad the whole time, my mom part of the time. And I grew up around K-State and walking through there, riding my bike through campus and that sort of thing. And I went to K-State. This is Kansas State University. But even driving through there a little bit, it's changed a lot. There's a lot of new buildings that are new. There's a lot of streets there you used to be able to drive through that you can't anymore. K-State's changed quite a bit. Aggieville, I don't know what you call those. The little like area with bars and restaurants and shops that spring up next to a college. It's like the hill in Boulder, Colorado, next to CU is kind of a similar sort of thing. But Aggieville in Manhattan has changed a lot. I'm sad to say. Just didn't have that same feel anymore. Really, there's still a lot of bars there, even more than there were like 20 years ago. But it's changed a lot. I don't know. Life's moved on. But there's a song that I listened to recently. I think I probably played it because of these thoughts I was having. And actually, the original version of it was, I don't even know who recorded it. As far as I can tell, I could be wrong about this, but apparently it was originally done by the Dubliners, this Irish group, and I guess one of them wrote it, or they wrote it as a group or whatever. But it's called Dublin in the Rare Old Times. And there's this one like stanza of the song, or whatever you call it, verse, that just it really kind of sums up how I feel about Manhattan in a lot of ways. And like the building that's been going on in Manhattan that's changed the place considerably. Developed areas that weren't developed once upon a time. Expanded new areas of that didn't used to be part of the town, stuff like that. So the song goes, "The years have made me bitter. The gargle dims me brain, 'cause Dublin keeps on changing, and nothing seems the same. The Pillar and the Met have gone, the Royal long since pulled down, as the gray unyielding concrete makes a city of my town." And that's really the impression that last line, "as the gray unyielding concrete makes a city of my town," is really a lot how I feel Manhattan's been going. Such as it is, but whatever. Life goes on. One thing in particular that's kind of I don't know. I kind of want to say it's difficult for me to deal with, but that's not really the right thing to say. It's just something that it makes me kind of sad, I guess, is that a lot of the camping areas out at like around Tuttle Creek Lake and some of the state lakes and stuff around there that I grew up camping at a lot of times when I was like on Boy Scout monthly campouts. A number of those areas, and not just at Tuttle Creek Lake, at some other ones too. They just don't. Some of those camping areas just don't really exist anymore. The recreation areas have just been closed and either pretty much totally just let return to nature, or there's this one I camp at every once in a while. It's where I went back when I was during the Codger Challenge. That place, it used to be a developed camping area, but they just kind of put a gate across it. It's been several years now that it's been closed. But every once in a while, it's like they go in there and mow some of the areas. I don't really know why. So it's like they're not totally letting it return to nature, but they pretty much have in a lot of other ways. I don't know what the story with that is, but there's just a lot of these places that, like when they built that reservoir back in the late 50s and early 60s, I don't know if they just thought there's a greater need for these recreation areas and camping areas or what, and maybe as time has gone on, they changed their mind about that, or money has run out. It's probably a money thing is my guess, but that and some of the areas I know are kind of topographically low, if that's the term I want to use. So when the reservoir, we had a flood in 93, which flooded out a lot of those areas. One of them in particular, I think, like ever since that flood, I think they just decided like next time the water was going to come up, it was going to kind of destroy things again. And they just decided to close it down. But it's kind of the same thing. I have a lot of memories camping in these different areas, and some of the areas just don't exist anymore. And I've gone out to some of them and walked around, and it's just kind of, it's sad, but and kind of weird to see how much they've changed in some ways. Like there's one spot, that one that I'm pretty sure they closed after 93. That was the place where I went on like my first like camp out when I joined Boy Scouts. And a couple of years ago, I went out there, and I think I more or less found the area where we had camped at. You know, it's hard to tell where it would have been just because things had changed so much and things have grown up and all that. But I found like an area where there's like a concrete slab where the outhouse was and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, things change. My life is kind of growing up somewhere else. I think that's just how life goes. If you're the type of person that sees some value at kind of looking into the past and holding on to some things, or at least some memories, it's just maybe a little bit more difficult. Maybe not more difficult. It's just more of a thing for you to just kind of realize that things have changed and the differences and all that. But anyway, I think I've rambled on probably too long already. So we'll wrap this up. But yeah, it's December 1st. Heading into that time of year. It's kind of weird because this year, I mean, it's December 1st and Advent hasn't even started yet. Because this year, we don't even really have a fourth week of Advent. The fourth week of Advent is like a day. But hopefully I will get out and go camping. Work is really screwing up stuff with my weekends recently. And hopefully I'll get out camping here in like a couple weeks. Hopefully the weather's halfway decent, one way or the other for that. But anyway, just going to sit out here, finish my pipe. I'm Gareth with Flint Hills Bar. Thanks for joining me.